Well, guys, I don't know if it was a very good idea renting this boat for today. Weather's not cooperating. Whoa, I know it.
It's a little rocky out here, guys. It's too rocky.
You know, the other Tony was smart taking today off.
Oh, he gets seasick. Yeah,
And I'm not too far behind him getting the seasick.
yeah, and I'm not feeling very well either, actually.
Well, hey guys, it's getting close to lunchtime. I've packed bologna sandwiches. Anybody want one?
Oh, no way.
You know, I was actually out trying to fish for our lunch later, and I actually found this floating up next to the boat. And we got a message in a bottle.
Oh, probably a bill.
Probably a water bill.
All right, it has two questions here. The first question says, what does this tiny little room have to do with kitchens? And the second question is going into, what does the Bermuda Triangle have to do with custom homes?
Wow, it's good questions.
Well, we don't have any service out here. We better go on shore to find out.
Yeah, let's
I
dock.
think going on shore
Let's
sounds like
dock
a
and
really good
answer those
idea.
questions. Whoa, let's go.
I'm gonna get my bologna sandwich.
Oh. Man, guys, I'm sure glad we have docked.
Yeah, back on shore.
Hey, welcome to Between the Studs. My name's Lonnie Norris, and this is part of the Granite Ridge Builders Custom Home Builders team, and we are custom builders. We're glad you've joined us today. We're building homes in northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and also parts of southern Michigan. We enjoy what we're doing, and we enjoy sharing with you some of the components, the trends, energy efficiency ideas that are all involved in building a new custom home today.
Oh, guys, I think we are all tied off now. We're on solid ground.
Hallelujah.
Now, we do need to address the questions that we got from our message in the bottle. And that first question is, what does this small room have to do with kitchens?
Well, you know, we're on this boat. We're in the cabin. Could be a cabinet.
Yeah, actually in the 1500s, it actually came from a French term where the word cabin or cabinet came from. And obviously we refer to it as kitchen cabinets, but back then it was referred to as a small enclosed room with a door that may have been used for storage or maybe even meetings.
Okay, makes sense.
One from those small meeting rooms that would also go on to make how people started to talk about a small group of people together was called a cabin. So they call it a cabinet too for a small group of people meeting behind closed doors.
That makes sense.
Like many of the politicians.
Yeah.
Makes complete sense. Now, we do have one other question, and that was, what does the Bermuda Triangle have to do with our custom homes? And I think we really need to go explore our kitchens to take a peek at that.
We can answer that question. All right, great.
Go.
All right,
Let's do
go.
it. Let's do it.
Okay, Izzy, so what does the Bermuda Triangle and our custom homes have in common?
Well, we'd love to answer that for you, and I'll answer for you this way. It's actually called a work triangle or kitchen work triangle. What that's going to mean is basically your prep space, your cooking space, and your storage space. And if you've ever watched a great chef in their element, they bounce back and forth between those three spaces flawlessly and effortlessly. But the big part of why is called that kitchen triangle.
Okay, now that relationship is really important, and there's a lot of dimensions and some science to how those work together. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, they actually say that the space should be between 9 feet and 12 feet between each station, and that the total space between each station should be between 13 and 26 feet. And it seems awfully specific, but there is a little science behind it, and they'll say that if you'll keep those things in mind, it'll make that workspace very, very efficient.
Now, what does that have to do for our appliances as well? Because there's a big relationship on all the other appliances that are in a kitchen.
What we find now, we've added, of course, the microwave as a big part. And so that's why most people right now still put the microwave over the range. And that way you still have that work triangle going. But people are opening up that kitchen area now, making it more and more large. And with that, they're moving some appliances. That's where we've even seen the under the range or under the counter microwave and just people moving appliances.
You know, I've even seen them in the pantry, and people are adding a lot of appliances as well. There's ice makers, beverage fridge, wine fridges. So we have to put that into consideration as well with this triangle and how those are going to affect the workspace.
And of course, lastly but not least, is your actual prep space, counter space. So you have to make sure you have, I think what was at least 12 feet is what you're hoping for maximum.
Definitely. I don't want to have anything less than that. We have a lot of entertainment and you need all the workspace you can get. Elizabeth, we love to know where different words or things came from in this business, and one of the things is the word cupboard. So that actually just started with simply putting cups on boards, and that's how we got the word cupboard.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, kitchens nowadays, obviously all of our cabinets are attached. They're with the home, but it hasn't always been the case. So in the early 20th century, a lot of times they had what we called a Hoosier cabinet. So we found that in kitchens there was no space, no place to put anything. The Hoosier cabinet was actually invented in Newcastle, Indiana. And it was a freestanding unit, usually on casters, but it was a cabinet and it had things in it for flour, for spices, different accessories like that, and kitchens have just evolved from there. And when we talk about kitchen cabinets, it's not just kitchen cabinets. We have filing cabinets, medicine cabinets.
Yeah, we have linen cabinets, entertainment cabinets, everything.
And this has really evolved just because we have so much stuff and we need to hide it.
It is, and now what comes around goes around. You know, it started with open cabinets and we went to closed. Now we're back to open again. Floating shelves is one of the hot trends right now.
And it's really popular partially because we're doing such large pantries. People don't need as many cabinets, so they want to make it look pretty.
Definitely. You know, some other fun trends I love to talk about would be colors of cabinets. You can't get enough different colors, especially even if it's just for an island or a range hood surround. Have fun with it, even a vanity or a half bath, all sorts of options in color.
Now I know white is really popular, but I'm seeing now gray is really the new white.
It definitely is. Gray we love to do on islands, even base cabinets with white uppers or even an entire kitchen. So Elizabeth, what are some of the most unique or fun sort of designs that we've done with cabinets?
Well, a lot of fun things are, of course, the island. We're doing a lot of double deep islands, so it's a large space. You get a lot of extra storage. We're doing a lot of glass doors for display, and you can do different glasses in those doors, which is really pretty.
You know what I love is even incorporating 2 islands in a kitchen, or having a special space for your pets. If you have, you can have a dog bowl cut out, especially just for them.
Another good idea is at the end of your island, you could have an open shelving for your recipe books or something special to put on display.
You know, I love all the little mechanisms you can do in cabinets, you know, trash pullouts or spatula holders, all sorts of really cool designs there.
Pullouts for your pans, your pots is another excellent idea.
And not just the kitchen, but don't forget the garage, the utility room. Everywhere in your home, there's probably a use for a cabinet.
Hi, I'm Cindy Ward.
I'm Carl Ward. We're builders reps for Granite Ridge Builders.
I've been involved with the villas for about 6 years now.
I always say I did villas before they were villas because I started out in the late 80s doing villas. Autumn Ridge, Cherry Hill, Chestnut Hills has evolved in the sales, Westchester Glens, Kensington Downs. So they really evolved into a product that we're doing right now.
Everyone always thinks that we make a great team, especially for the villa buyer. We each have our strength. Carl knows the lots, he knows construction. My interest is really in interior design and the design of your floor plan. So between the two of us, we make a great team.
I'm an ex-builder, and like Cindy was saying, I know the inner workings of what we do build, whether it's base plates, sidewall construction, I-joist, and it just goes on and on. So between the two of us, her background is in decorating, and she hates it when I say this, but between the two of us, we have 84 years experience in this business.
Between the two of us, Carl and I have probably helped over 1,200 families move into new homes.
If someone wants to work with Cindy and I, we have open houses every Sunday, 1 to 4, Northwest and Southwest, but we would actually rather that you give us a call on our cell phone. 260-312-5438 is mine.
Mine is 260-341-3402. Please feel free to call anytime.
Hey Dave, what's going on?
Hey, look, I'm just looking at these cabinets. I love to look at cabinets, and I know we do a lot of painted cabinets. We also do some stained cabinets. Could you explain how and why we do those?
Yeah, well, let's talk about the species of wood first. So we got these cabinets here that are painted. Now those would be a maple finish. Right. And the reason that we paint with maple is because it's a more of a fine grain, so that grain isn't going to show through that paint like an oak. That grain would actually show through if you painted this on.
Okay.
Now another thing to keep into consideration when we're talking species of wood is actually how durable they are. So this little guy right here is how they test that.
Isn't there a rating for that, Jenka?
Yeah, Jenka. So they actually test how many blows it takes to get this little steel ball halfway buried into this piece of wood. And then they give it a score. Okay. The higher the score, the better. So this oak right here is a 1290. So about middle of the road. And again, this is going to show how durable it is from dents and how it's going to last over time. Now an alder, which is a popular selection, is actually on the lower end. So then that begs the question, why would you pick an alder over maybe a hickory, which is on the higher end? Well, an alder is going to stain up a lot different than a hickory would. And then also, if you look, quite a big difference on the grain patterns. Okay. So some people don't like seeing this grain, but it's a harder wood. Other people like seeing more of the fine grade, but it's going to give you a more consistent stain across the board.
So when we're looking at cabinets, we not only look at the type of wood, if it's going to be painted or stained, also the durability of it. If you have kids around the house, how strong you want it to be. So all those things go into determining what kind of cabinets people want.
Right, and then also would they like to see the more fine grain or more the coarse grain. And then there's also products like a cherry that stain is going to actually change over time. So lots of things to consider when you're actually picking out your cabinets.
Fantastic, I think that's great information. Thanks, Luke.
Hey, the subject today is cabinets, and we are standing here in the Granite Ridge Builders display room, the actual bathroom display area. We're surrounded by some beautiful vanities. Let's talk about cabinet vanities, Izzy.
There's a lot to see here, of course. We've got several different styles, different types of countertops. But one of the things that I have a big question about is this idea of a toe kick. Now, actually, in my house, there's even actually a vent under there. What is the purpose of a toe kick in the first place?
That vent produces heat or cool. It's a great place, a very convenient place to provide heat and cooling in your bathroom. But codes are changing. If you want to have that, you better build your house today. Going to change that.
And so what's the purpose of the toe kick though? Why do they make that space there?
It's about a 4-inch offset, and it simply allows you to get a little closer to your cabinet. So when you're brushing your teeth, you need a place to spit, you're going to hit that sink every time.
I need all the help I can to have less mess. Another thing I always think right now is we are doing this, the raised countertops in the bathrooms. Can you tell me about why were they ever different heights?
In the past few years ago, it seems like kitchen vanities were 36 inches and bathrooms were 32 inches. But why? Well, I don't know the answer to that question. But now it's very popular to raise those up to 36 inches, the same height as our kitchen vanities and cabinets.
Yeah. And I even checked with my mom. She's 5 foot nothing. And I thought, what does she think about this raised countertop in the bathroom? She actually still liked it. She said, it's great in the morning, wash my face, keep everything in there.
I know if I just bend over a little bit, there goes my back. So I really enjoy the higher heights.
Yeah. So our stud tip today has to do with our vanities in the bathroom. It's our double vanity question. How much space do we need, and do you actually need 2 vanities?
Double sinks in the bathroom is very popular, and so we need to talk about how long that vanity is going to be and why you really need 2 sinks.
Well, some people think that the main reason is because they both get ready in the morning at the same time. And I can understand that to be true. But the second question you must ask yourself is, do you use a lot of the counter space on the top? Do you tend to keep things on the top for display or for things you're going to use for the day? Or do you keep everything underneath the cabinet?
Right, and the fact is, if you put 2 vanity sinks in a 5-foot vanity, you're not going to have a lot of space for other things.
So it's definitely something to make sure you think through as you're deciding between 1 or 2 vanity spaces in your bathroom countertops. And we talked again, there's so much to see here in our showroom. We definitely encourage you to come out here and see it. So many different styles, options, things to consider when you think about bathroom cabinetry.
Right, lots of cabinet considerations in your kitchens, in your bathrooms, and other places in the house, and also in your boat.
Most important decisions when picking the design of your cabinets happens to be the door styles.
It is very important. There's actually 3 different styles. There's a raised panel, which you see behind us. This is more of a traditional look. Then there's the recessed panel. This comes in a little different style. We have a few different selections, and this is a timeless look. Then we have the flat panel. This would be more of a modern look.
Definitely. So what about the color, and how does that play into the door style?
A lot of times with the timeless look, we see people going towards a white or a gray because it kind of is geared towards that panel look. When you get into the stains, people are looking at an alder wood or a specific wood. You see a lot of the raised panel.
So when it comes to the design, we have a couple different options for the construction of the cabinets. What we have behind us here, this is what they call a quarter overlay. That's a pretty standard look. You'll see this in most of the cabinets. What we're doing a little bit more now is what's called a full overlay. So the doors and drawers basically touch, and leaving, you don't see any sort of frame around the cabinet doors and drawers. So that's a little bit more of that modern, it'll gear towards that sort of a look. You also then have inset, where the doors and drawers are inset and you see all of that frame around.
Now, Kayla, the kitchen we're standing in right now is a little bit different. This cabinet is actually painted, but it has another technique done to this.
It does. So what they call the extra little dark accents there a glaze. Now you can glaze a white painted cabinet, you can glaze a stained or even a gray painted, whichever you like, but it creates a little bit more depth and interest. You want to be careful when doing a glaze, making sure your door style is exactly what you want it to be. So what we have here, we wanted to see more of that glazing, so we picked a door style that has some more grooves and ovulos for that glaze to be caught on. If you don't want to see all of that but still have a little touch of accent, you can go with more of a simple door style. So that's how all of this becomes a very important topic when picking your colors and your door styles together.
Luke, in this segment, let's talk about cabinet construction.
Yeah. Now let's maybe start with the doors. That's one of the more complicated parts of the cabinets. Now some people may think that this is one solid unit.
Looks like one piece to me.
Yeah, but it's actually made up of what I would consider 5 different parts.
Okay.
You got the stiles,
okay,
the rails, and then the inside panel here.
Okay.
Now what you're holding there is a stile and a rail joint.
Okay,
so
where they come together.
Yep,
yeah.
You can see with the 2 dowel pins there, they slide right in and snap together.
And we would normally glue that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's a glued joint. Okay. And then you can see down in this channel here, that's where this panel actually fits down in.
Okay.
Now, the big thing you got to consider with this is this panel is going to expand and contract at a different rate than these stiles and rails.
Humidity and moisture in the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You're cooking a big thing of spaghetti there. That moisture is just going in. That wood's going to absorb that and actually going to swell. So one of the ways that we do that, combat that, is there's actually a little ball that's almost like a rubber ball. Yeah, that fits down in here that allows that panel to expand and contract within this joint, not causing any stress actually on the stile and rails.
Wow, and that's the case with all the custom cabinets at our custom cabinet manufacturer.
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely.
Okay.
So, we covered the doors. Now let's talk about maybe the drawers.
All right.
So these drawers, as you can see on the side here, are actually made up.
You see the dovetail.
Dovetail,
huh?
exactly. Now, dovetail, you may think is maybe a relatively new thing with maybe some of the new machinery we have, but this has actually been around for thousands of years. People have been doing this before there was any modern day machinery.
Kind of interlocks it together.
It does. It locks it together, and when it glues together, I don't know if you've ever had to pull one of these apart, but it's almost impossible.
More than once I pulled the drawer right off the front.
Yeah, so you can really pull this, and that's not going to affect that dovetail. Now, we've talked about pulling it open. Now check this out. They're slam proof.
Soft close, as they call it? Okay.
Yeah, so I have a couple of young kids at home. They slam that door shut, it's not going to smack that door on there.
That's such an exciting feature. A lot of our people are going for the dovetail and the soft close in cabinets. You can also get it indoors, right?
Yeah, you can get soft close indoors. Now, there you go. Can't slam it. Now, we talked about a little bit about hinges. Now, this is considered a concealed hinge.
I've seen that also in Europe. I think it's also a European hinge, very popular.
You're right. So on the outside of the door, you actually can't see this hinge at all.
Right.
Yeah, another hinge that we will see on some of we have actually 2 very good custom cabinet lines here at Granite Ridge. The other one actually uses a knife hinge. Do you know what the difference between the 2 would be?
I think how far the door opens.
Right. So on a concealed hinge, it can only open to about a little over 90 degrees, maybe about 100 degrees. Whereas a knife hinge is actually going to allow this door to actually swing almost a 180. Yep.
Okay.
So that's a big difference. Some people may want to keep that in mind.
Okay. Just a lot of things to consider when you're picking out your custom home and you're putting a custom cabinet in those places that's going to provide the storage for a lifetime.
One of the big decisions in your next new home is your countertop selection.
It definitely is. So we typically start with talking about laminate countertops. Laminate's going to be one of the more cost-effective ways to start with your kitchen.
Well, I know in the past people have a negative feeling about laminate countertops, but what most people don't know is they've come a long way. First of all, the selections. There are literally hundreds of color selections to choose from.
There are. They have so many great styles, and what really makes a big difference now with laminate is the finish. So you have finishes that are a little bit more brilliant. You have shinier finishes. It makes it look more realistic to a granite or something like that.
There's also a lot of different edge styles that you can put on the countertop, and that can make a difference as well.
It does. It really dresses up the overall look when you change your edge style. And the last thing is the patterns of the laminates are absolutely incredible. So this here is a laminate top, and you have such a pattern that you would really never know.
Well, Kayla, I love all your laminate selections, but I think you have a place you're supposed to be at. Tony Depker is waiting for you at Dark Star.
Dark Star is going to be my favorite segment. I love looking at the granite slabs.
Kayla, we are out here at Dark Star. Beautiful, beautiful warehouse. We're talking about cabinets, but a big part of cabinets is actually the countertops.
It is. You can't have enough emphasis on the design of your countertops. It makes a huge difference in the overall design of your home.
Now, is there anything out of style right now when it comes to countertops?
I don't think so. You know, it depends on the person and your lifestyle, what's going to fit best for you. And here at Dark Star, they have granite, quartz, marble, soapstones, quartzites, and even a little bit of onyx. So there's a little something for everyone.
And I learned something new today when we were out here. It used to be that when you bought the granite, you had to buy the slab.
Yes.
Not that way anymore, is it?
Not necessarily. So all of their granites here is sold by the square foot, so it really makes the most economical decision. You can get a kitchen starting around $3,500 for granite up to, I mean, just about anything. Sky's the limit depending on your design, but it's really very affordable.
And we're actually standing next to a beautiful piece right now, aren't we?
It is. This here is gorgeous. You know, the great thing about granite here at Dark Star, they have a 15-year seal. So there was always that misnomer, you know, hey, I'm going to have a lot of maintenance if I pick granite. Not necessarily anymore. Their seal is last for 15 years, if it even has to be sealed at all.
Now, we were walking around here before the segment, and you pointed out to me this really unique piece, and you said it was an onyx, and I didn't quite know what that meant. Tell the audience a little bit about what you're talking about there.
So onyx is really gorgeous. It's meant a little bit more for a showpiece or an accent area. You might do it in a half bath or on a wall. What's great about onyx, it's usually more translucent so you can light underneath. It's so great. We're actually going to have this at our Granite Ridge showroom here soon.
So really, you can't make a mistake.
You definitely can't. There's something for everyone, and it's gorgeous. I love these pieces here.
And if you're ever thinking about doing a new house and using a granite countertop, we're more than happy to meet them out here at Dark Star, where we can go through and look at, what they say, how many?
Over 120 different slab styles.
You know, just once again, give us a call, talk to us, check us out on the website. We would love to talk to you about nothing but granite, if that's what you want to talk about. And I wanted to show you that piece over here from my house.
Let's go take a look.
One thing I love about the Granite Ridge Builders showroom, which anyone is invited to come out during any of our business hours take a look at, is all the different options we have for everything, including countertops. We just got back from Dark Star not long ago. We saw some major slabs, some beautiful slabs of granite, but there are other options as well for countertops, including quartz.
Yep, so we love Cambria quartz countertops, and what separates Cambria from other competitors is the quality of quartz that they use in their slabs. So they actually pay 20% more to get the most pure white quartz available. So that makes a huge difference in the brilliance of their looks, and you have a much better quality as well.
Now, one big thing about quartz is you don't have those natural flaws, correct?
You don't. Now, it's very hard to get consistent slabs, but Cambria has a huge quality controls area, and you have a lot more consistent looks because of that. It is a man-made product, so non-porous. You don't have any resealing or any sort of maintenance to upkeep your countertops.
Now, the interesting thing, and you were educating me on this because you just were up at the Cambria plant. Mm-hmm. How did Cambria get its start?
Well, Cambria actually started because the Davis family was a dairy farmer. So they actually realized that making Cambria or making quartz is very similar to making cheese, and what their dairy actually went through to make the cheese. So you have to have a lot of quality in that. You have to have consistent in texture, consistency in your mix, and everyone has to, Swiss has to taste like Swiss, so Cambria has to look like Cambria, and each one has to look the same, so that's how they got their start.
Kayla, now that we know the history of quartz, what are some of the benefits of quartz?
Well, Cambria goes through a lot of testing to make sure each slab is up to their quality. So they'll have a scratch test, make sure there's very little scratching. They'll have a water resistance test to make sure it's not penetrating through. And it'll also have, it's very dense, so they want to make sure it's not going to break under extreme circumstances. So all benefits there to the Cambria top.
Now, one thing that I've been hearing about is people love the marble look, but marble is not a good idea to put in a kitchen, is it?
Definitely not. So marble can stain very easily, especially with acids around. You can get in upwards of about $600–700 to refinish your marble every single year. But Cambria has some designs that mimic marble wonderfully. So you have this look here. They're even coming out with some new ones that I just saw that are going to be just like this and going to be very popular.
You know, you are also wanting to show me what they're doing now with Cambrian bathrooms.
Let's
and
give
things
it a
like
look.
that, right?
All right, Captain. The scenes look a lot better out there. Can we give it another shot?
We can do that, little buddy. No problem.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. As you can see, the subject of cabinets is a deep and very wide subject, just like the water around this boat.
You know, and if you'd like to know a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, give us a call at the number of the screen. Check out our website. You know, better yet, come on through the front door. We'd love to meet you. And if you haven't had a chance yet, we have a new Between the Studs Facebook page, and you can find some of the bloopers, you can find some teasers of what's going to be going on next week, and we'd love to have you like our page.
Great. You guys know the song Deep and Wide?
Oh, let's get out of here.
Let's keep swimming.
Hey, Luke, do you have your water fins?
I know I need to get that and sunscreen. And
I'm not
white-
feeling too good, man. It's kind of rocky out here.
It
Look
is.
at the white caps.
Whoa,
And of course, Tony's not here because he gets seasick, so
you wouldn't have been able to handle that.
This Tony's not far behind him.
I'm not feeling very good.
Yeah, no one has any lunch meat.
No. Does anybody want a bologna sandwich? And maybe we'll all go, ooh, no. And then, all right. I'm starting to feel sick too, man. He can't even get the bologna part. You're a bologna
We
man.
need to take the baloney message away from you.
I am not the bologna guy. I'm
Okay.
not the bologna guy you want. It's grossing me out even
Okay.
to think about it.
These are some beautiful black painted cabinets, but I know we sometimes will paint cabinets, sometimes we stain cabinets.
Start over again.
We don't pay anything.
We paint.
We pay to paint.
We
yes.
paint.
Yeah. How do we pay this? Are they on the
A lot of things to consider when you're picking out. Oh, brother, picking out.
Well, one of the big decisions in your next new home is your countertop selection.
It is. So we typically
Also with cabinets, we don't think about it, but we have things like medicine cabinets, filing cabinets,
linen cabinets, lots of different kinds. That's the only one I can think of.
lots of different kinds of cabinets.
Entertainment cabinet, crap. Sorry. And you know, the great thing too with this granite, a lot of people have the assumption, you know, that's okay. I didn't like what I was saying. I want to start over anyways.
Perfect.
Yep.
Forgot about that part of the
And if that's the case, 2 sinks might be good for you. But we also can make you.
Yeah, it's true. Everything he says is true. Meal, that's all, folks.
And the Porky Pig comes out.